Indeed. Thank you very much, Alice, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's sesh. As Alice said, we're going to touch upon quite a lot of different things. A lot of it is to get your mind thinking of what you need to do, what you want to achieve, and then booking your one-to-one sessions, rewatch a masterclass, or go out and find some additional information. But look, one-to-one sessions are there, so please utilize them. I know there's a few people in the chat who I've seen already who utilize my time and others. So if you haven't, please do. So today we're going to talk everything about digital marketing on a budget. Hopefully you guys can see the screen. So as we fly through today, so a little bit about me, some of the questions that you guys had asked previously. If you do attend another masterclass in the future, feel free to drop in your questions beforehand. It helps people like myself kind of tailor the presentation to your questions. We want to talk about a little bit around objectives and strategy, some of the freebies when it comes to digital marketing, some of the costly ones if you guys have that little bit of money to play with, and then of course last but not least the data, because those who know me know I love data. So who am I? My name's Ian de Cordova. I've spent 14 years doing quite a bit of marketing here and there for some major companies highlighted at the bottom, but I've also worked a lot with small businesses. I focus on an array of different topics as well. So if you want to talk other things apart from digital marketing, again, feel free to book in a one-to-one mentoring session, and we can see, or I can see, how I can help. So just before we get started, if you guys kind of let me know where you are. I did a session yesterday and there was quite a few newbies. But again, if you guys just react, are you a newbie? Not sure what you're doing? If you've done this before, understand the basics, give me a thumbs up. And then, of course, last but not least, if you've unfortunately been doing this a while and then plateaued, where are we at? So you can see a few emojis coming in. Okay, so there's a few middle ground, which is good. And then there's a few newbies. Okay, cool. Good to hear. So I'm going to try and touch upon quite a lot of different bits. So within this, these are some of the questions that people had asked before, how you should approach lead generation on a budget. That's always a fun question I get asked every one-to-one mentoring session. How to invest in Meta. For those who don't know, Meta is Facebook and Instagram. Prioritizing your business, what to spend money on if you do have a little bit of money. Reaching the right audience, which is always key. You don't want to be wasting money unnecessarily. Strategy, what you need to be focusing on, simple ways to look about doing marketing, and of course the main difference, between the different media types. So just before we jump off into what is marketing, a lot of people kind of get marketing mixed up. So I just want you to kind of transport yourself to your local town, village, city, wherever you are. I just think there's a dog show coming. Okay, if you see a poster, banner, anything like that, that's advertising. Okay, that's encouraging you to sign up. If they decide to do a little dog parade and walk the dogs through town, that is promotion. The dogs decide to go and dig up the local park, and that makes news headlines. That's publicity. If your local mayor, government, whoever comes out and goes, it's fine, we're planning on digging it up anyways, but we'll feature you in the newspaper, it's kind of public relations. And of course, sales as the end bit, i.e., let's talk about how amazing those dogs are at digging. You should come along to the show because there's loads of other stuff that they are going to do. So all of that is in marketing. And of course, if you had planned the whole thing by having the dogs dig up the park to then speak to the local government or local council, you kind of include that all in marketing because you saw that plan happening. And the more you understand about this concept, you'll pick up the newspaper quite a lot of the time or read the news and go, wow, a lot of that is strategic marketing, i.e. this has been in the works for the last year or two or even a few months. So hopefully that made sense. But what we want to talk about is objectives. Of course, whenever I speak to businesses, when it comes to overall marketing, my aim is to try and figure out what you want to achieve. Some people say sales, obviously, because that's going to put bread on the table. But what else do you want to achieve? It could be the amount of followers that you have, could be starting a new channel, could be likes, could be a whole lot more. I always say there's a call to action, but what's your secondary call to action? What else do you want people to do? It could even be review your products or your websites. Again, helps with what we call in marketing terms social proofing. I always say to individuals, what are you doing better than anybody else? Who are your competitors in the market? Again, reviews can help with that. You can head over to their Google My Business page or Trustpilot or FIFA or whatever platform they use to collect their reviews and figure out what people are saying about them. Some stuff will be good, some stuff maybe not so good. But could you say, all right, whatever they're not doing good, we are actually doing quite amazing, or whatever they're doing amazing, we're also doing amazing. So you can shout about that as well. Define what is success. As I said before, what you're trying to achieve. Success could come in many different forms. It could be getting one extra sale a week. It could be getting, 10 more likes on your social media post. There's so many different elements that you could define as success. It's not always about the end goal, which is sales. Okay. What issues and opportunities will you tackle to achieve success? And of course, that is always in the form of a SWOT analysis. Again, I always encourage individuals to do a SWOT. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats? We all have opportunities. How can you use these opportunities to try and grow the business and potentially even turn it into a strength? Okay. So in terms of marketing, there's quite a lot of digital marketing platforms out there. My main question to you is, where are your audience? Are your audience on across all of them, or are you going to try and delve down into a specific set? I always say SEO is important. Reason why, if you think of a high street, I'm going to use this analogy, on that high street, you have your own shop, as in store, let's call it maybe 2 floors. That is your website. Your website is your shop. People always come there. That's the first port of call. Okay. So having that shop as optimized as possible is the best thing in terms of getting people A, to understand who you are, and then B, to potentially drive sales. So SEO is king in digital marketing world. Video SEO, YouTube is owned by Google. Google really pushes SEO, so you can kind of see how that goes hand in hand. So if you're scared to go in front of the camera, please don't. You can even have faceless videos as well, explainer videos. So again, you will understand what your product or service is. A lot of the time, people who are looking at you probably don't and want some more information, and they'll look to people like yourselves who are the experts or who are the people who are promoting this product or service. So again, if you're able to use video content, that will help, especially as it's more or less free, because I think most people have a camera phone nowadays. You do have social advertising, social media advertising. That is the paid version, which you can do across Meta, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok. To be honest, more or less all of them apart from Be Real. You have email marketing as well, organic socials, which again is just you posting on social media. You can post on other websites and link back to your website, which is a form of a backlink. If anybody wants to know what that is, it's in the realm of SEO. A backlink will help boost your website's credibility in Google's eyes. So the more that you're able to post your website and link back to your website, it will help with trust. You have affiliate marketing nowadays called influencer marketing, where you'll ask someone to, speak on your product or your service and tell the world how amazing it is. That is a little bit costly. And then, of course, the most expensive one of all is paid search marketing, which comes in the form of Google advertising, or if you want Bing advertising, which is slightly bit cheaper than Google, but still expensive nonetheless. So where should you focus your energy? I get asked this question a lot. Of course, YouTube video content, easiest thing to put out there. There's loads of apps such as CapCut. If you go into your Play Store, your iTunes Store, or your iStore, I should say, you can find CapCut. There's free versions and templates to use. Highly recommend that. But again, Pinterest, if you have a business which is image-based or product-based, that's really good. You have the likes of Reddit, TikTok, Yelp, Bing Local, and my Google My Business are 3 free websites that I believe every business should be across. Reason why: A, they're free, but B, they help from an SEO purpose as well. It helps to build that trust and credibility. So that's Yelp, Google My Business, and Bing Local. If you have a Google My Business, head over to Bing Local, which is now Bing Places, and you can literally just sync it. It takes about, I think, less than half a day to do, so you'll end up on 2 search engines. You have Google Merchant Center for anybody who sells products. Again, another free tool by Google where you can advertise your products on Google, but individuals or your audience will see the picture of what you're advertising along with product information. So they can just click on it and buy straight away. Of course, most people know the Meta platforms, as I said, Instagram, Facebook. Those are amazing because, their audience levels are in the billions. So you have to be on those. LinkedIn as well, if you're trying to do B2B or any professional type advertising. But then there's loads of free other ones like Tumblr. and Twitch as well, which is another video-based platform. So it really depends where your audience is. Of course, if you're a younger based audience, then a lot of them are on Snapchat, Twitch, sorry, TikTok. If you're a more mature audience, let's say, it's more the meta platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X, or AKA Twitter. Believe it or not, TikTok came out with a study the other day to say the majority of people who buy their products are millennials. So, that is something that you should explore. It's not always about the ice bucket challenge and doing random dances, okay? Um, so starting kind of at the bottom and then working your way back. So I always say to individuals, what do you want to focus on? What is going to be your call to action on the website? It could be book a free consultation. If you want to speak to somebody about your services, it could be buy your product, or it could be review your product, whatever it is. You kind of have to work backwards and go, okay, this is my call to action. Why would somebody kind of look for my business? So of course you'd have the content on your website or within your ads to help lead individuals down that route of understanding this is what you're doing and this is how you're helping them achieve whatever problem or issue they have. Content is always key in this issue. How would they search? As I said, some people search on Google, some people will go through social media. So again, we have a message, we call it omni-channel message, which is making sure when you're across your website, your social media, everything possible that you're appearing on, that you have one message. What is that message going to be? So people go, okay, well, I've seen it online, I've seen it on social media, it makes sense, it's what I'm after, boom. That's how I'm searching. Identifies a problem, need for a specific service, what are you, who is your audience? What are they looking to do? And of course, that helps you understand who your audience is. I always give my example of a plant shop. So if I sell plants, obviously my call to action is buy my plant, but I have to kind of break it down because it could be people who own a house, which want a bigger plant. It could be people who own a flat who want a smaller plant. Could be people who want to buy a housewarming gift for somebody else. So automatically I have three audience personas and everybody's going to search differently. Okay. How they stack up. So the free wins are on the left. When it comes to SEO, your website. If you don't have a website, again, I would highly recommend it. Think again to that analogy of your shop on the high street. People walk in and start looking around and buying. That's what your website is. Content marketing, your socials, any press that you may have, or any blogs that you can create. Blogs are very important, and I'll delve a little bit into this shortly. But I'd highly recommend that you start creating blogs. There's loads of ways of doing it. Organic posts, again, your social media. There's loads of options for video content, explainer video content. Email marketing, if you do have email addresses already of potential clients or of previous clients, please utilize it. Put it into a flow, try and understand how to reach out to these audience members, what they're after, and how to sell to them. Budgets, of course, when it comes to SEO, yes, it is cheaper to have a website, but when it comes to backlinks, trying to ask people to link back to your website, i.e., write about a product or service that you may have, sometimes you may have to pay for these. There are free ways to do it, as I mentioned, such as other blogging websites, but for the most part, you'll probably have to pay a little bit of money. Email marketing, you can buy email lists. I'm not a fan of them because a lot of the time email lists are not necessarily up to date and you'll probably get a few dead emails and a lot of unsubscribers, so just be cautious of that. Paid social media, again, depending on the product or service that you offer, if it's very visual, if people can see what you're offering, paid social media is great, i.e. Meta platforms are a good one, and TikTok as well. Paid video ads, again, very similar on the social platforms, but you can also do it in the form of YouTube Shorts as well, which is a really good alternative because a lot of people watch things on YouTube. I'm a key suspect of that. And then display marketing, GDN network, which is Google Display Network. You can advertise across websites which are not your own if they have GDN on there, or you can advertise on YouTube, but it's going to be more or less the text box at the bottom of YouTube or on the right hand side of YouTube. If you have a little bit more money to play with, affiliate marketing, i.e. influencer marketing, that is quite good depending on the product service that you have. And then of course, the most expensive one of all, Google Ads. Google Ads is a platform whereby you appear within Google. It can cost anywhere from 50p to £100 per click depending on how competitive your industry is. I say £100 a click because I used to work in a sector, gambling, where it's £100 a click, just because everybody wants to vie for that type of customer. But let's say if you do, I don't know, let's say crochet needles in a small village and you want to target a specific area, it could be as low as 30 to 50p. So SEO is pretty big. This is why I always say to individuals, and if you've ever been subjected to a call by myself, you'll know I'll say you need to put as many keywords as possible that you want to appear for, or be known for within your SEO content, because 84% of searches are discovery searches, i.e., I'm in a green top now. I could search green top in Google, green t-shirt, green shirt, whatever it is, but I'm not looking to buy from Boohoo. I'm not looking to buy from Zara specifically. I just want to see what's out there. So making sure that these keywords are on your website so people understand what they're looking for. That you can appear for what they're looking for is important. So there's two types of SEO. I'm not going to delve into it because I did an entire SEO session, which took an hour. But just be aware what you can do as a small business if you're limited on time is concentrate on the content side, i.e. the meta descriptions, your page titles, your URLs, your image alt text, keywords, blogging, and dynamic content. Your meta descriptions, if you're on Shopify, Wix, or any of these websites, you do have an opportunity to put in your meta descriptions. I'll show you in a screenshot next page. Page titles, make sure all your page titles are H1 or H2. Reason why is because Google looks at that as some of the key factors to determine what's on a page. Your URLs, please, if you have a Shopify account or Wix or any of these, if you have a shop on that website, please don't have the URL as /shop. Have it as /, in this case, green tops, green shirts, whatever it is. So Google looks at that and goes, okay, this website not only has green tops in the meta description, page title, and URL, but it could also have it in the image alt text. So whenever you upload an image onto your website, make sure you have those keywords in the image alt text. Every website has that opportunity, so please have a look at that. So those are just some of them, but again, I've already done a session on this. I'll show you in a second. You can just have a look at that when you have the time. The technical side, SSL certificate, which is a little padlock. For those on the Zoom browser at the moment, you can probably see a little padlock within the URL bit. That is the SSL. I work in a company. If you do not have an SSL certificate, I cannot access your website. So making sure you have these, they come standard on a lot of web development sites, but if you're on WordPress, you may have to buy one or a WordPress alternative. Have a look at your page site speed test. If you head over to Google and literally Google page speed, a website will come up. You can just put your URL in there and it'll give you an idea of how your website is performing in Google's eyes. And then it'll give you little recommendations of how to improve it. Okay. Site errors will also show up. Site errors. If you have the opportunity to do a robot.txt file, which in layman's terms is a sitemap, aka blueprint of your website, and submit it to Google, Google will start to understand again what pages you have on your website, and then from there will scour it, use their little Google bots to go through all your pages and go, okay, this page is really good for a green t-shirt. We will start pushing this up the SEO ranking. Okay. And of course, mobile compatibility. On average, about 70% of people search on their mobiles. So making sure that your website is compatible is important. So another screenshot for you guys who like to take screenshots. These are some of the tools that you can use from an SEO purpose. There's quite a lot out there. We'll touch upon some. Some you have to pay for, such as SEMrush, WordStream, and Ahrefs. They do trials, I think between 10 to 14 days. So you can have a look and see, it'll give you recommendations on how to improve your SEO. You can use Google Keyword Planner. So when I was talking about your keywords on your website, that is a free tool from Google that you can use. Also Ask can help. ChatGPT is my bestie. Everybody knows that already because I don't have time in the day. So this program can be used to create descriptions for your website, alt text, for your images. And of course, if you're really struggling with blog content, that can help give you the foundation to help grow it. Okay. I'll touch upon a few more of these as we go through. Okay. So SEO ranking, as I mentioned before, Shopify, Wix, you name it, a lot of them have this opportunity for you guys to put in your meta descriptions. So Google is going to look at your website, make sure you put your keywords in there. What do you want to be known for? I.e., if I was doing candles, guess what? I'm not a candle making website. I'm a luxury candle making website. You know, what type of wax? Probably beeswax. So it's luxury beeswax. Candles, it's long lasting scent, you know, whatever it is. But these are the keywords that I'm pushing, because again, this is potentially how people are searching. So I use this example, MSA Skincare. So on their website, you know, they've put in one of their key terms is skincare. As normal individuals such as ourselves or our audience, she can see, or we can all see the word skincare on the website listed 35 times. But what they've done in this circle is 111. Now, this 111, it's because the images behind have the word skincare, the meta description has skincare, and so forth. So the more options that you put your keywords in, the more Google's going to start showing up for it. Okay, because Google can say, okay, this website is talking everything skincare. It's in the URL. It's literally everywhere plastered on the back end of this website. Okay, um, you know, the meta descriptions, bit circled, even the JPEG. The JPEG is called skincare.jpg, and then the alt text goes with it. Okay, so very important. So, you know, when you're looking at this, if you go on Google Keyword Planner, again, on a free tool, you can type in skincare. You know, if I type that in, it'll give you a whole list of different keywords which are ranking very high for skincare. So I can have a look and say, okay, you know, you put skincare on there, but could you then create a page called skincare routine? Because clearly a lot of people are looking at that, or image skincare. No idea what that is, but work with me here. It'll give you a whole list of keywords that you can look at. You can then head over to alsoask.com, put those keywords in, and it'll give you phrases of what people are searching for in Google. So that gives you content ideas for your social media. It gives you blog ideas for your website. It gives you so much understanding of how people are looking at these keywords, and then you can start changing your website and your digital content accordingly. If you're stuck with what to do, you head over to ChatGPT. You put in, okay, people are talking about renewing, cleansing, skincare, balms, whatever it is, write me a paragraph on it, and it gives me the foundations, and then from there I can start building upon it, put in my own experience, put in my own wealth of knowledge, and that's what people look for. But of course, I will put certain keywords in there, again, what I want to be known for, so Google can start ranking it. But before I do, I head over to another website called WebFX, and you can put it in there and it'll give you the readability score. When it gives you the readability score, it's basically saying this is how Google sees your blog. This is how easy it is to understand and the content within it. So therefore you can change it or you can go ahead with it. It'll recommend changes. So that's quite important, because again, when it comes to blogs, 71% of B2B buyers consume blogs. And then 6% of e-commerce sales as well. So what I'm saying is it's important to have these key terms on your website, because not only can it help from a web building perspective, but a blog perspective as well. Okay. But if you want to find out anything more, this is the one. If you head over to YouTube, just type that title in, or when we send around this, you can have a look. But again, highly worth it if you're looking to improve your SEO. Okay. YouTube, as I mentioned before, second house or second largest search engine. Again, I live on YouTube. I don't really watch TV that much, because everything I need to know is on YouTube. That is both in the form of YouTube Shorts and YouTube long tail content. So viewers always want to be entertained. Again, I am clearly entertained by YouTube, but I also find a lot of educational bits within it. So whatever I recommend to small businesses to do is try and focus on some of these. What is the entertainment value? Um, I, as a potential audience member, learning something from you, you know, could I learn something from you? Say, for example, if I was I don't know, if my small business was making candles, again, you know, this is how you make candles. Can you show some of the spillages? Could you show some of, you know, the formula is not going correctly, or the scent's not being the best? Try and get audience reactions on the high street of the smell. That is entertainment. At the same time, I can show people how to make candles. This is what you do with the wick XYZ. I don't want to give the game away too much in terms of my small business, but you know, those are ideas that you can utilize. Okay. This website does it quite well. They use a lot of YouTube, but they start to embed their YouTube on their website. So again, from an SEO perspective, it works hand in hand. Google sees it as, okay, you're using a video from YouTube on your website, it's linking, it's embedded. And of course, the more views that you have on YouTube, you can have a call to action to visit the site and vice versa. Okay. So again, I always encourage people to embed your YouTube videos instead of uploading your videos to your website directly. Um, there's loads of different types of content. What's YouTube good for? As I mentioned before, short and long form content. In this business's case, they use it as tutorials. When it comes to Facebook, because again, you can upload videos on Facebook, it's long form content engagement, getting people to like it and share it. Instagram, it goes without saying, Instagrammable, i.e., does it look good? So of course, you change how the video looks. You kind of showcase the image of what it looks like at the end, so people click on it and then find out how this individual went about creating the content. And of course, when it comes to TikTok, far left, it's all about entertaining content. What's driving people, it has to be short and snappy. They create kind of real life content or based on characters. So again, you can kind of see the minions there, which is at the time very popular. There's loads of tips out there. One of the main ones I'll give to you is rubbish content will never go viral. Please be aware that all those that I just showed before are competing. So Facebook's competing with TikTok with Instagram, and so forth. So they want to always try and encourage individuals to stay on their website. So how do they do that? They give the best content possible. Because again, if you ever watch somebody young use social media, it's truly frightening. They'll be on an app for maybe about a minute or two. They'll scroll through 3, 4 videos. If it's not entertaining, they're on to the next app and then the next app. This is why it's important as well when you say who is your audience, where is your audience. Sometimes it could be across 2 different social media platforms. Okay. How to promote a unique kind of product was a question I got asked. Facebook and Instagram Reels are amazing. Just be aware that they have different like counters. So even though they're owned by the same company, you could have 1,000 likes on Instagram, while on Facebook you could have 10,000, but they're not going to flow together. It's completely different and different algorithm. Okay. You get to choose your audience when you're on Facebook and Instagram, which is great. Again, depending on who you want to advertise to, that can help narrow it down. Commenting cross-platform is different, as in, i.e., if you message or you comment on Instagram, it's not going to flow over to Facebook. But there's loads of different reaches, which is good. And this is why I always encourage individuals to go on Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. When it comes to YouTube, you get to build up your own audience, but that can take time. But depending on the content that you put out there, the call to actions could encourage people to A, follow, and you create a little community, or B, you can get them driving to your website. So in my case, again, my little candle making business, these are tips of, let's say, burning a candle or lighting a candle in a particular way, or how to let your candle last longer, whatever it is. Some strange reason, a lot of people like unboxing videos. Don't know why. If I bought a TV, I expect a TV in the box. If there's something else, and I don't know why I'd buy it. But could you make your experience when you send somebody a product, almost like a true experience? It's not just here's a box. So we'd have a look at that. How much do you need to plan when it comes to meta ads? For me, I always ask individuals, what is one customer worth to you financially? And that kind of works it back, because what you don't want to be doing, if someone's going to buy a £10 product from you, you don't want to be spending 20. Ideally, you want to be spending like £2 to get that client, or £3 to get that client. You're not going to spend that straight off the back. You will eventually spend about £15, but you're able to start working back once you utilize data, which is obviously my second best friend. Which one is better, paid media or organic media? Look, guys, it completely depends on yourself. Paid media, you're able to target more specifically. I can tell, social media platforms, I want to pair between, or my audience between 18 to 24. While the organic side, it could reach anybody 65 plus. So, reach and control is better on the paid side. Results and analytics, because I'm paying for it, I get to see who is coming, or who I'm attracting, I should say, how many people are going to my website, X, Y, Z. While with the organic, it's not as straightforward, and sometimes it takes a lot of digging. Sometimes you'll have to link Google Analytics to your website to try and get an idea. But most platforms, such as the Meta ones or Snapchat, they give you ideas of the age demographic in terms of where they are geographically and some of their interests as well. So you can help tailor your ads a little bit more. When it comes to trust, obviously, some of us are bombarded by ads throughout the day. So sometimes you're not sure if it's a scam or not. While if it's an organic one, it seems to build up a little bit more trust and credibility because it's getting organic likes, it's getting organic follows, and so forth. So there's some stuff to be aware of. I am a firm believer that you have to pay to get out there. You don't have to spend that much when it comes to, especially meta platforms. You can spend £5 a day. Simple math is about £150 a month. If you feel bougie and want to spend £10 a month, that will get you 300. The more you spend, the more data you get, so the more tailored approach you can do for your business. Because again, if you're waiting on the organic stuff, as some of you can imagine, it does take a while to get people over to not only liking your content, but over to your website thereafter. But this is some insight. 64% of people surveyed said they use social media to find shopping inspirations. I'm a key person of that, Instagram and Pinterest for me. So guess what? If you're on social media and depending on your call to action / promotional message, you will start seeing increases in sales. Okay. Customer engagement, I always say to individuals, sell to people who actually want to hear from you instead of just shouting at random people and trying to drag them in, because some people are going to be interested in what you sell, some people aren't. And this is again where paid media comes into play, where you can try and identify who your target audience is. Because organic, you're going to reach everybody. Not everybody's going to be interested, but you paid, be able to kind of scope it down or funnel it down. Some people asked about boosting posts on social media. If it goes viral, you can normally get a look and feel about it. This individual, again, going back to Snow Windows, they decided to boost their post. As you can see at the bottom, 111 million people reached by this post. Now, that is a dream, I think, for everybody. It's not necessarily going to be that way. I was speaking to an individual today. She had 700,000 people view one of her posts. Spoke to somebody yesterday, they had 10,000. But again, once you start getting an inclination of people liking it, sharing it, and I think sharing nowadays is a big factor on whether or not you should boost a post. That will give you an idea of saying, okay, people seem to like this content, it's engaging, or there's something in it that they want to show to others. So you know what? Boost it. Again, £5 a day. If you want, you can boost it for 2 weeks. I never ever say do any paid media or boosting for a week. Guess what? Because definitely the heat wave that we are getting this week is different to what we had last week. And as you can imagine, if there's a heat wave, a lot of people are outside. They're not necessarily on their mobile phones or in the pub. They're doing everything else. While if it's a colder day, a lot of people tend to be inside. Okay, or a miserable day. So therefore, the patterns change on how people search and use social media and online as well. When it comes to maximizing, you click through. Again, if you think of the high street analogy, if you do have a shop on the high street, your awareness is your balloons are on the front door, you're playing a bit of music, trying to let people know that you're there. Again, when it comes to social media, this is your organic posts or your paid posts as well. You can say, look, this is who we are, this is a service or product that we offer. The engagement bit is, come on over to our store, try this free sample, or come have a whiff of my candles kind of thing, right? Engagement online, check out our website for more products or more services that we offer. Obviously, when I'm in the store, the conversion or the sale element is, this candle today is 20% off. It burns for 10 hours, whatever it is, buy this candle. Boom, candle bought. It's the same online. Whatever product or service that you're selling or preaching, how is it that you can get people across the line? It could be just the USPs that, i.e., your unique selling points. We are better than this competitor because we do X, or our products incorporate X. Okay, retention and loyalty. If you send out a package to somebody or a product to somebody, I should say, you can put a little note in there to say, thanks for buying from us. If you come back, I'll give you 10% off or 20% off or whatever it is. Recommendation, again, Google My Business, Trustpilot, FIFO, whatever review site that you use, you can say, look, tell you what, if you come back to us, you get 10% off, but if you review us, I give you an extra 10% off. Try and encourage it that way, or say, look, we don't know how we're doing. You're one of our first customers, would love some feedback, whatever it may be. But this is how you move people through the funnel. You will scream and shout to a lot of people at the awareness stage, but not everybody's going to buy. And then even when they do buy, even less people are going to come back. So how do you make sure you try and keep the bottom bit as fat as possible, i.e. retention and recommendation? When it comes to Google, 99% of search queries come through Google. I think per day, every second, I should say. Sorry, that's 8.5 billion searches daily and 2 trillion global searches annually. So guess what? If your SEO keywords aren't going to help you appear, then you're just going to be falling by the wayside. Okay. Just wanted to talk to you on whether or not you should go to Google for paid ads versus non-paid ads. I always say pre-need, or is it at need? Pre-need is I'll think about this, I don't need it now. At need is, oh my God, I need it now. Example, if I'm going to be doing a renovation on my house, let's say in a year or two, I'll think of a plumber that I need, but I don't need him now. While if I'm sleeping and then my pipes burst in the middle of the night, that's at need. So you can start tailoring your PPC or your Google search ads accordingly. So you can tailor the description, the headlines, or depending on the business that you are, you can say, look, I always want people to have me front of mind, or if they need me now. Again, breakdown service is definitely an at need if you're on the roadside. Display, again, really good at building up that awareness piece, i.e. screaming and shouting about your business, because again, it allows that visual element. So Google Display Network, as I mentioned before, it allows both text and picture, a little bit of moving picture as well. So if you do have a business that, your products are sexy, desirable, then I'd highly recommend it. Okay. Email, just quickly on this from Sue. When you guys are creating email, these are some of the key points. I won't go through all of them, but as you can imagine, a lot of us are subjected to email. Some of you send out a lot of emails every day. I always say to individuals, just get to the point, depending on who you're messaging. Definitely if it's B2B, because at the end of the day, a lot of people just want to say, okay, this is who I am. These are the USPs of what I'm offering, unique selling points. So again, if I go back to my candles, long lasting, amazing smell, you know, if I want that sustainable aspect of it, then I can put that in as well. But what is it that my competitors are doing? What can I say that I'm doing? Can I merge any of that? And that's going to be the USPs. And then, of course, the final bit, look, happy to talk about this a little bit more, invite you in to have a smell of the candles and shop, whatever it is. Let's book an appointment. And now let's get some time in the diary next week. Boom, that's it. Guess what? If they don't message me back, because a lot of the time they probably won't, I'm emailing them the second week. And then I'm emailing them the third week. I may even reach out to them on LinkedIn, depending on the prospect of it. Give you guys an idea, law of averages when it comes to sales. You can't just email somebody once and hope for the best. We know, or we have a conversion rate in here on one of our teams where you say, look, you have to email 100 people. And then from that, you probably get about 2 or 3 calls back. Okay. So don't just go, I'm going to email 20. I didn't hear anything about it. It's not working. There's loads of ways you can test. You can change the subject line, leave the email the same, or change the opening line of the email and leave the rest of it the same. But please, 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 law of averages, don't just go, I've emailed a little bit, no one's got back to me. Keep on trying. Okay. Customer journey is important. I always say understand your customer, get into the head, map out the customer journey. For me, I always say if you are doing any social media, any email marketing, whatever it is, what is the journey? You send them the message, where do you want them to go? Do you want them to go to the website? Okay, what does your website look like? Is your website what they expect? Now, you may think your website's amazing, but again, looking at competitors, what do your competitors showcase on their website? Are you doing something the same? Are you not? Can you improve on your website so it at least meets the expectation of your potential clients? Again, your mobile and desktop split, is it going to be the same journey, i.e. is it the same website? Is there any different images that people can go, yes, that is me because I am using my mobile phone. I see this individual on the website using a mobile phone as well. Sometimes that could trigger it. There's loads of different things that you can change. Touch points as well. That is, what do you want people to do? Where are people leaving your website? What are they clicking on? Again, your homepage is pretty big. How are you telling that story so you can see where people are clicking? Each button on your web page, you should be able to tag up to identify how many people clicked on a specific button. And then you can say, okay, well, look, a lot of people are scrolling down half the page and then they leave, or a lot of people are scrolling on half the page and they're clicking on different actions. Can you move some of those actions further up the page or lower down the page? If you go to Tesco's or Asda or M&S, wherever you shop, half the time you come in looking for cereal, and guess what? Cereal's moved. It's moved to the back of the shop, and you're like, oh my God, why is it back there? A lot of the time they realize this is how people move around the shop, and cereal may not be a priority. So it's the same on your website. Don't just put your website out there and hope for the best. Always be testing as much as possible. Okay, as we head into this, Google My Business, touched upon this yesterday. Very important for those who have a Google My Business account. If you don't, you really need one, because 60% of people use their mobile phones tend to click on an action on Google My Business. I'm definitely in that 60, i.e. if I see a business that I want to find locally and there's a phone number, I'm calling it, or if it has directions to the shop, I'm finding it. Okay, so make sure that you have a Google My Business account. It is free, and I'd highly recommend it, especially with a lot of the elements that are coming out for Google My Business and Google Maps this year. Okay, how to optimize it, of course, when it comes to information, making sure that's accurate and up to date. Choose the right categories. There's loads of categories to choose from, but making sure that whatever keywords very similar to your website that you're using in your Google My Business account. Okay, use high quality images. Again, if you do have a website or social media, you can use these on my Google Business account. You can also use it in the posts, because for those who don't know, you can use posts on Google My Business. So again, it really helps. Let's say if somebody's looking for, again, beeswax candles, I can have a post there saying, order today and you get 10% off, and I can solely have that on my Google My Business account. Okay. There's loads of updates. Again, scream and shout about what you're doing, because that is important. Add products to your profile, the Google Merchant Center. Have a look at that, guys. Again, that is an hour masterclass in itself, so I won't touch upon it too much, but just have a look at it. If you want some one-to-one, happy to talk through that. And again, you're going to be utilizing the special features. A lot of people's cameras are going to come into play when it comes to Google My Business, so they can just basically hover over your storefront. If you have one, if you're a virtual business, don't worry. If you have a storefront, I don't even need to walk into your store anymore. I can potentially just have a look on my phone while using my camera on your shop. Okay, and it'll tell me everything I need to know. But there's loads you can do with your Google My Business account, showcasing positive reviews, encourage individuals to give you a review so you can feature on your website, use social media, your email, or even if you do have a shop, you can put it in your shop window. Okay. But always encourage people to leave reviews. And I say positive, but if they give negative ones or potential feedback, just utilize it. You can play on it and say, look, somebody said my candles don't actually smell. So I can go back to that individual and say, look, take any feedback on board. The fig one doesn't smell like the fig one. Therefore, instead of 10% fig, we've now put in 20% fig to try and combat that. So other individuals can see that I'm reactive and I'm actually changing the product as a result. Okay. You can use your reviews in advertising. For those, again, who want to advertise on Google, you can use them in your seller rating ads, which is really good. But if you don't, and you just want to do organic on your SEO, it can turn up in your rich results. You also have a merchant center, which again, I touched upon, but your seller ratings can feed into that. So social proofing, overall, this is how you're going to help build new clients or gain new clients while improving on your current clients. As I mentioned, you have Bing Places, or it used to be Bing for small businesses, I think, at one point. But basically, if you have a Google My Business account, as I said, these are some of the steps that you can do. You can just basically create one, sign in, and just press the button, import Google Business Profile. Boom, within a day, you'll have it on Bing. For those who don't know, if you have a Microsoft phone, laptop, Xbox, a lot of these have Bing as the default search. So that's why it's important to be across Bing as well. To finish it up, looking at data, because again, as I said, data is my second best friend. Google Analytics, it's free. You guys need to put it on your website. Reason why is because it helps you to understand how people are using your website. If you do have a shop on the high street, it's the equivalent of 100 people walking into your shop. 20 go left, 20 go right, 20 go forward, and then the rest walk out. You need to understand what people are doing when they're in your shop. So it's the same on your website. Your website's your 24/7 salesperson. What are people doing? How are people using your website, and so forth. Facebook Pixel, for those who have a Facebook account, again, could spend an hour going through this, but there's a lot of YouTube tutorials. Put a Facebook Pixel on your website. That helps you to understand the demographic audience that you have, i.e. the age, where they're coming from, where they're located, stuff like that, their interests. So when it comes to advertising on Facebook, you know exactly who to go after, or at least a better understanding. Okay. So In summary, I always say, look, where are you in the marketing funnel, i.e., that funnel bit, which was, are you screaming about the business? Are you at the sales point? You're at the engagement point. Sometimes you're at all stages. McDonald's, for some strange reason, still tells everybody about the Big Mac as if it's something brand new. It's always all over the bus stops and so forth, but they're always trying to keep it in people's mind, i.e., the awareness piece. You need to define your objectives, your goals, what do you want to achieve, keep it in the strategy, find out who your audiences are, how they're searching for you. You know, also ask is a good way in finding that out. A/B test. So again, with the emails, create different subject lines or different intro paragraphs. Again, really testing how people are using it. Highlight your USPs. You do have USPs. Ask your friends. Ask your close circle what you think your USPs are, or just look at competitors. This is your friend. I didn't really touch upon hashtags, but I keep getting asked this, Ian. They say use 3 to 5 hashtags. I don't know why. Social media gives you up to 30 if you're on Instagram and Facebook. I would use a 30. I wouldn't use rubbish hashtags. So if I was doing candles, at no point, if my shop was in London, would I put London as a hashtag? It would be, whatever my scents are of candles, luxury candles, long lasting candles, beeswax candles, all of these would be hashtags. So very useful hashtags. And of course, using competitors as blueprints, because that can really help you understand what's out there and how you can improve your website or your social media standing. And then storytelling. Everybody likes storytelling. I think it goes back to when we were all babies and we used to like listening to Three Little Bears or Goldilocks or whatever it was. We all seem to love stories. So tell your story. People are invested in businesses nowadays. So make sure that you tell your story, tell people why you started this particular one. For me, again, if I was starting a candle making business, it's because I'm sick and tired of buying these useless candles that A, don't smell, they don't last long, they look pretty on the candle cover, which is good, but they don't do anything else, right? So this is why I made the candles, and this is how I make it. Okay, so that is it. Last bit, you can't control how people feel, but you can influence them. That is very important, and I will leave you with that in saying people always think different, but and a key example of this is we all drink water. How many different water brands are out there? You can't really say you need to buy this one or this one, but you can influence them by, in this case, influencing maybe the packaging. Evian looks very bougie, or Voss water looks very bougie, but then you could have Buxton water, which doesn't look as bougie, but guess what? They all have water in them. So how can you influence your potential audience? Okay.